Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kathryn May. I'm so excited that you guys have joined me. For the next 9 weeks, I'm going to be having some conversations with a health and life coach, and I'm really excited about that because she's going to be giving us some tips and some things that she helps her clients to overcome. And then I'm just going to be sharing also from a mental health coach perspective some ways that I have overcome some things in my own life when it comes to dieting and so many other different topics we're going to be covering. And I shared what all those topics are going to be on a live video a few weeks ago when I was letting you know what was going on. So you can find that video right here and you guys can go back and watch that if you're interested in finding out more about what the entire series is going to be about. Sarah is actually on a weight loss journey herself, and she is on a journey to lose 180 pounds. She's 78 pounds down so far, and I love that she is a certified health and life coach because she's helping people to get through things that she is just overcoming herself, and she's going through them herself, and she's working through them herself. So she's not somebody who has already arrived or has never been through something. She is in the thick of it. Anytime I talk with her, I learn so much. So I hope you guys are going to learn a lot too. Today's video, we're going to have a conversation about what we think about using a variety of programs when it comes to dieting. Is it okay? Is it not good for you? And all the things that we just hear and think of ourselves and then hear from other people. So let's go ahead and jump in. Sarah, thank you for being on our channel today, right here on Kathryn May. We're so excited to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. Super excited to share.
Yes, good. Those of you who are tuning into our Summer Coach Collab Series, today's topic that we're going to be chatting about is going to be just how we feel about using a variety of programs to actually lose weight. And this is a subject near and dear to both of our hearts because we've used a lot of different things. I know for sure I have used a lot of different programs, and just even since being here on YouTube, I do product and program reviews, and you guys know that, but there have been a few people reach out in the comment section and just say, you know, hey, you're doing a lot of different things here. And I'm like, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that as long as the things that you're doing are healthy and sustainable. So that's what we want to talk about. We want to just touch on this topic of, I don't know, just kind of eliminating some of the guilt that people feel about jumping from one program to another and feeling like maybe, okay, so say you're doing a program and it's worked really well for you for 3 months. And then after 3 months, you're stalling. And so you think, I need to find something else to do. And you go do that something else. Then you feel bad. Well, you maybe feel like a failure because you had to quit doing the program that you were doing before to do something else. So we just kind of want to debunk a little bit of that and take some shame off of you about it and just talk about why it is okay and how it's okay and what kind of we think about using different programs. So Sarah, I actually met her through her Nutrisystem video that she did on her channel. She did Nutrisystem at one point, and it was totally different perspective and view than mine. And we just got to talking and connecting that way. She is on a weight loss journey as well. And she's lost quite a bit of weight. She's so far lost 78 pounds and counting on her way to how much? 180 lost?
Yeah, 180-ish.
That's a great goal. I'm so excited about that. So what other programs on your journey have you done besides trying Nutrisystem?
I have been trying to lose weight since I was 9 years old. So on my channel, I have talked about Whole30 and keto and a little bit of bright line eating. I did try Nutrisystem. It did not work for me because of my binge eating disorder and food addiction. It was highly triggering for me. So some programs work for other people. People really should not do certain programs, but those are the programs that I have actually sustainably lost weight with. But I've calorie counted, I've tracked, I've logged all of my food. I've done walk away the pounds workout videos. Like I've done sports. I've done like everything, but but sustainably, those are like the top programs that I've used over the course of, having a YouTube channel.
Okay. So when you say Nutrisystem didn't work for you because you recognized it wasn't healthy for you, you didn't just say, forget it, nothing's going to work, I quit. You went to research and find something else that was going to work other than, you said dieting since you were 9 years old. Have you tried a variety of unhealthy programs and ways to lose weight as well?
Oh, for sure. Yes. And I think for me, it wasn't so much starving myself or anything like that. I wasn't trying to do anything super extreme. When it comes to using a variety of products and programs and trying different things to lose weight, when you get to a point that I have gotten to where you're 200 pounds overweight and you have to lose a lot of weight, that's people talk about a lifestyle change, but they think that only one thing is going to change their lifestyle and you're just going to do that for the rest of your life. Well, that's daunting when you think about never being able to eat something for the rest of your life. Otherwise, you're either on track or off track because you've kind of put yourself in a box of one program. So for me, what has worked is doing things in its season, so I did keto recently for 3 months, but now it's summertime and I want to eat fruit, and fruit isn't really a keto thing, so I'm going to change to a different program that allows fruit but maybe doesn't have a lot of cheese, so I'm switching to Whole30. So it's not so much putting yourself with that many limitations for an extended period of time, but really just going with the seasons. For me, what was unhealthy was that I was making huge promises to myself that I couldn't keep. And I didn't have any self integrity left, that every time I said I was going to do a program, I would have given up on myself before I even really started and gave myself a chance, because I just didn't trust myself, period, because of how many grand promises that I've made to myself that I never followed through on because they were too big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's something that, as I was even watching one of your videos one time, that you said that really resonated with me about keeping promises to yourself. And once you lie to yourself so many times, you don't really believe yourself anymore. And sure, you're going to start that diet tomorrow. Sure, you'll try, whatever, and be successful at it another time, and it's frustrating. So, yeah, I get that. I totally get that. I think that's good. Being able to keep a promise to yourself, and then also not having to, do it all, like, oh, it's all or nothing. Like, I am going to be on keto for the rest of my life, or I'm going to be doing Nutrisystem till I die. That's not necessary.
Yeah.
And that extreme mentality that has gotten me to where I was at, and where I still, am struggling to get out of, it's got to go, that extreme all or nothing. So I had to kind of stop and reevaluate, if I don't do it exactly this way, it's okay, but I'm going to do the best that I can, so that it's not just extreme. Either you do it all right or you can't do it at all, to I'm going to do everything I can, the best that I can, and then leave the rest of it. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Like, one of my biggest problems though, with like picking a program and sticking to it, was I felt like I had to stay on it forever. But then I would also like meet these people, or kind of be one of these people secretly in my mind also, that thought I have to find like what's working for everyone else, or oh, it's working for her, I better jump over there and do that, or because this promo looked great, I better buy that pill, or whatever, like jumping on all the unhealthy fad diets. That really was a big problem for me. And you guys here on my channel, that you've heard me talk about fad diets really have been a problem for me. Extreme dieting and things have been a problem. So finding a program that is healthy and that will work for you is good. But how are you going to do that if you don't try different programs? So I kind of want to differentiate between programs that are healthy and programs that aren't so healthy, sustainability wise. And like, it's like, how do you go about choosing different programs that are going to work for you, that are healthy, versus just like a fad diet?
I have done a lot of work with myself to find what foods work with me and what foods do not. So for me, I did Whole30, which was 30 days of very strict elimination. I can make a small promise to myself for a long period of time, like I'm going to drink water every morning. That's something I can just adopt into my day. And I can just promise myself that I'm going to try to do that every morning for however long,
Yeah.
because I would hope that would become just a lifetime habit. Whereas with a large program with a lot of rules and a lot of like different guidelines and stuff, I try to keep that to like 30 days. So I did do the Whole30 challenge, found what foods worked with my body, what foods did not. And for me, that kind of led me into discovering like, am I going to do a strict like reset so that my body kind of cleanses itself of whatever is bothering it? Or am I going to be, just kind of like eating in moderation? So I don't really do a ton of like very strict programs. For keto, that was more of a reset. I had probably 6 months of just kind of eating in moderation and slowly losing weight with like a tiny calorie deficit. So with keto, I just decided, I'm going to do this program. I know that it helps people lose fat. So I'm going to do it the healthiest that I know how, try to do it the least processed that I know how, and just kind of doing the whole foods thing. I just prefer whole foods. But for my clients who are looking to lose weight, I don't even really start them on a program. It's more just like making small enough promises to themselves that they keep that throughout the week. Like their first action step is to drink water. And they don't realize how dehydrated they are. I know we mentioned that in last week's video on my channel, that it's like sometimes we don't even realize that we're just really dehydrated. Yes. So it's not even really about choosing a program that's going to carry you all the way through or whatever. It's really just finding what's going to work for yourself in your timing, in your season, with your lifestyle. If you've got a bunch of kids and you've got a bunch of, stuff juggling around, then don't promise yourself that you're going to stick to a really strict program. Because if on day 3 you fail, then you've done more damage than good by breaking a promise to yourself.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really great. Thank you for giving us some practical tips too, from, a health and life coach's perspective for somebody. And that's something I've had to come to a grips with too, is just that it's okay to just do a little bit and make small promises. Like I said earlier, it's not all or nothing mentality. And just coming to this realization, or like, I'm acutely aware of my own state mentally a lot. And as a mental health coach, that's probably why. So when I know that there's a destructive behavior pattern, or I'm doing something that isn't beneficial for me, even though it might be okay, I kind of stop for a minute and I reevaluate, or I even evaluate sometimes for the first time, why am I doing this and what's happening? And so that program jumping that I was doing for so long, I've done HCG diet, which was like 500 calories a day. And then I've done the lemonade diet, where you seriously only drink a gallon of water with cayenne pepper and lemon in it a day with no food for 15 or plus days. I've done crazy, girl, I know. I've done crazy things to try and find what works for me, but really I wasn't trying to find what worked for me. What I was doing was trying to hurry up and lose all the weight that I could as fast as I could, and then go back to my unhealthy lifestyle, because I would have changed nothing in the process, because extreme weight loss happens quickly and there's not enough time for you to do any kind of real, internal shifts and mental changes. So once I grew up a little bit and got some frustration and tired of this same old thing, because I've lost and gained over 100 pounds several times in my lifetime. And it's very frustrating when you put in any amount of work and sacrifice to gain back the weight. So it's one of those things where I was tired of saying, okay, I'm going to do this diet. Now I'm going to do that diet. Now I'm going to try this thing, to now I'm in a place. And this is really the point of this conversation, is that getting to a place of being healthy mentally, where you can say, yes, I'm going to try some different programs still, not 500 calories a day, not just drinking lemonade and nothing else. Like seriously, like whole foods, like you're talking about, counting my calories. Nobody wants to do those things. Tracking my food. Nobody wants to do those things. We just want to eat cake, ice cream, and McDonald's. That's what we want to do. Like, that's the truth.
Right.
That's what we want. But that's not good fuel for our body, for our minds. And I knew that. So I started looking at programs that were going to help me. So when I started Nutrisystem as a program, that was just to launch me into the next point. So I went from one checkpoint to another, and that was just one little spot in between. And that was just one way that I used to help me get to the next rung. And that helped me create some healthy habits that I could use long term. And I've been able to keep that weight off. That's why I know it worked for me, because I didn't go back, to where I was before. I did it for 3 months. So it gave me enough time to really consider some things about my health, my mental health, not just my physical health. I want to lose some weight around my waist. So I think that being in a place now where I've tried a couple different things, and I still get frustrated at times when I'm plateauing and it's not really working out for me, that I want to jump ship and I want to go do this, or now let me try that, like squirrel, like we just have to focus and kind of stick to something, like Sarah said, for a short amount of time. It can be short amount of time, being a day, a week, or a month. Give yourself enough time to create habits in yourself, like making the promise and keeping the promise, making a habit of keeping your promises, so that, yeah, I can keep a promise to myself for a couple of days, but then when I'm sick and tired of it, and when it gets hard, is when I want to quit. That's when I know, okay, I haven't created this habit. It's not a habit.
Right. I think that you're on to something there with, keeping a promise long enough that it becomes a habit.
Mhm.
And I think that what we're circling around also is the fact that it is a journey, which I know that that's such an overused word, but it's because we're building a relationship with ourselves. Number one, I have a history of eating disorder, binge eating, food addiction, yo-yo dieting, all that. I also work with clients who have a lot of different history emotionally with dieting and being told that they're not good enough and constantly feeling like there's something wrong with them that they have to fix. And so when we're talking about weight loss and we're talking about trusting ourselves, it's a lot of building that self-trust, but also like building a relationship with yourself. And when I first did Whole30, one of my biggest reflections, because during Whole30, you're not supposed to like eat with distraction. And so I was sitting with focus on what I was eating. And I realized that that inner dialogue of you are what you eat was really internalized for me, which is why I thought I was fast, cheap, easy, and because that was my own inner dialogue. And I know we're going to talk about that later on in the series, but when I switched to whole foods and I'm sitting there with this plate of whole food, I am whole, I am nourished, I am worth the effort. And so I think that for me, it is just a matter of recognizing that you're not just choosing a program or a product that's going to get your end result where you're going to look a certain way and all of your problems are going to be fixed. You're building a relationship with yourself and you're learning what works for you, and you're learning what works for you in what season. If it is really busy, or if you are grieving, or if you are celebrating, then what works for you in that time. And I think that is a big thing that we overlook because we're just looking at calories in, calories out, when the whole human experience and building the whole person from the inside out, like you talk about on your channel, health from the inside out, is that mind body relationship. It's why I don't coach my clients directly to lose weight, because a lot of us haven't even really checked in with ourselves lately and figured out what we really need in this time.
Yeah. That's so good, Sarah. That's so good. I appreciate you saying that, because I've talked a lot about being self-aware. And if you're not self-aware and you don't know where you're at, like you said, we haven't checked in with ourselves, and we can miss a lot of stuff. And we're just racing through this life, trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, or keep up with social media, Sandy, or whatever. Like, come on now. We just like get quiet, turn off all the stuff. After you watch our whole video, turn off everything, and then just go sit down for a minute, take a minute and just think, okay, where am I? What am I doing? What's happening in my life right now? How am I feeling about things? And how am I handling them or not handling them? And just give yourself a minute. You don't have to have the answers to any of those questions. just ask yourself for a second. Just sit and ask. Maybe have a pen and paper around you if you want to, so you can write a few things down if they come to you. But, just sit down and ask yourself. You'll have some revelation. You will. It will just happen. And you may not even want it. It may be scary for you to stop for a minute and sit and think. And isn't that the truth, Sarah? Like if you really stop and thought for a minute, maybe your whole life would overtake you in the moment because it's so crazy and hard to handle.
Yeah, I was terrified to eat a meal without having something in the background because I could not stand my own company. And I think that that's something when we are constantly looking for something to fix, or we know that there's something in ourselves that we want to fix, and we're constantly looking for what outside of ourselves is going to make us feel like a whole and complete person.
Yeah.
When, that's what's scary. And that's what people don't want to hear when they're looking for weight loss tips, because they just want to lose a quick 10, but they don't actually they want the physical transformation. They want to compare themselves to other people. They want to have the before and after pictures, but the transformative work that you have to do in order to really learn yourself and grow as a person and learn to love yourself, and that you are worth the time and effort. It's not just about looking a certain way. It's about being the entire person that you're capable of being. But that also means that you have to have the courage to learn who that person is and what that person needs. There's different reasons why people gain weight. A lot of those reasons are for protection and for hiding. A lot of people have deep trauma surrounding that. That's why a lot of people who are on a weight loss journey also do need mental health coaches or need therapy or need someone else just to be present and witness what they're going through, because we're coming out. We're, really shining. And some of us are really scared to do that. So I think that's the kind of courage that it takes to really transform.
Yeah, that's so good. You're right. And that's absolutely accurate. We need to give ourselves grace and be okay with feeling all the feels, because until you feel it, you can't heal from it. Take time to do the hard things. The hard things are not necessarily changing how you eat, although that is difficult, because when you're used to doing something a certain way for so long and then you're changing it, it is difficult. Change is hard, but the most difficult change is going to be the change that's going on in our thought life. I'm so thankful that you just took the time to come on here and share your heart, Sarah, and just give everybody here just basically a free session. Thanks for that. Thank you for taking the time and just sharing your heart, because it really is beneficial, to hear that you're on a journey yourself. You have not arrived, and, you're 78 pounds down, but you still have quite a ways to go on your 180-pound weight loss journey. But that doesn't stop you from reaching out and helping other people, even though you're still in the middle of figuring it out for your own self. And that's really what it's about, being brave enough to stand up and say, I don't have it all together and I'm not perfect, but I can link arms with you and we can work together and figure out some stuff and get to the next part of wherever you're at. So that's been really beneficial. I so appreciate your time, Sarah. And I'm very excited about the next topics that we have to discuss on our series. We're going to be doing this every week, you guys, and we're going to be posting at 9:30 in the morning Central Standard Time every Saturday. So you guys make sure that you have set an alert somewhere. Make sure you tap the bell icon and then go over and check Sarah's channel out. Don't forget to do that so that you can see all of the other really helpful things that she does have to offer. And I know, Sarah, you talk about a variety of things like finances and a whole bunch of other stuff because she's a life coach. Some of the other topics that we're going to be talking about are really deep. And next week, we're going to be talking about binge eating, yo-yo dieting, and just our experience with that. So we talked a little bit about that today, but we're really going to dive into it next week here on Kathryn May. So thank you guys so much for being here today. And thank you again, Sarah, for your time. All right, you guys, I really appreciate you hanging out. I hope that you guys were encouraged today. That is our main goal in doing this, is just to encourage you and give you permission to do what works for you. And hopefully you guys have felt that today through our conversation. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I just want to invite you to go ahead and do that. And also make sure you go check out Sarah Girl's channel and subscribe to her as well for more healthy from the inside out tips. I gotta roll.